Hey everyone, Seth Campbell here. Welcome back to the Segue Says podcast. Well, this episode is going to feature two more relaxed, laid-back songs from two of my favorite piano-playing singer-songwriters, and that would be Marc Cohn and Bruce Hornsby. The Marc Cohn song is called Olana, and the Bruce Hornsby song is called Fields of Grey. Both these songs are kind of, second tier for these artists, and then they're probably not in the greatest hits, but they're not incredibly obscure. They're both pretty well known. Both are in G major, similar tempos, and both rely on delicate piano lines to take the lead. So, first song is Olana. And this is a song, it's kind of an oddity in that it isn't an oddity. And what I mean by that is that the album that it's on, Burning the Days, D-A-Z-E, not D-A-Y-S, was Marc Cohn's third album. And as he describes it, he was going through a rather tumultuous time in his personal life, and he says that was reflected in the making of the record, and I definitely think so. It's a very it doesn't sound like a typical Marc Cohn record. There's a lot of sort of synths and keyboard sounds and odd effects on guitars and even on his voice. And it's a very unusual record, which is not to say it's not a great record, because it is. It's an amazing record, but it's very different from his first two. This is kind of the one song on that record that really sounds like a Marc Cohn song, as you would come to expect from the original Marc Cohn record, or The Rainy Season, which was the follow-up. So it's kind of a return to form in the middle of this unusual album. And it's a song about and sung from the perspective of a man named Frederick Edwin Church, who you might have to look up if you're not an art historian. I certainly did. He's a well-known and very well-respected landscape painter, considered one of the masters. And he was originally born in Connecticut in the 1800s, and he became known for these amazing landscapes that he would do of places, all around the world. But if I have the story right, and as the song tells, he kind of reached a point where landscapes just weren't inspiring him anymore. He felt he'd done all he could do. And so he turned his attention to creating a home for his family. And his family had also been through a lot and were going through a lot, and he wanted to provide, to create a safe home for them. And he eventually did, with the help of some architects. He designed this elaborate and unusual house that's now a museum to his work, and he called it Olana. I believe it's in Greenport, New York, which is a small town that's nearby the Hudson. And so this is a song sung from the perspective, the lyrics are sung by Church to this creation that he's now finished and is looking upon. There's this delicate piano riff in the beginning. This house upon a hill, high above the great and mighty river. My hand could not hold the brushes. Yes, I guess I lost my will. You can't keep painting paradise forever. And that's a verse, and there are a couple of verses before the first chorus. And the interesting thing about the chorus of this song is that it's really taken by the backing vocals. Marc will sing a line going from the end of the verse, like, I traded it all for you. And then it starts this cycle with the piano riff over these chords. It's just C, G, C, G. And the backing vocals will come in, and they have a series of lines, and it kind of cycles through each chorus. Each chorus takes 2 seasons. So the first chorus, like when I do it solo, I have to leave an extra time through this progression so that I can sing both. Traded it for stone start there, but I have to add a time through the progression. Then it comes in. Winter wind blows and the river lies frozen at my feet. Springtime come and the river wanna run above the street. And then the next chorus, it's summer and fall, so it's a sun beat down on a summertime town. You left me here, watching these hills turning gold for one more year. And then the last chorus, and this is why I bring this up, because the last chorus will be involved in the segue. The last chorus actually adds them together, so it has all 4 seasons sung about. So that's Olana, and the way he ends it live is also going to be important. The way he ends it live, he repeats the first line and slows down, sort of a ritardando at the end. So they say my final masterpiece was this house upon the hill. Ends it on the E minor, which is a little unusual, but I think it's very haunting. So now on to Fields of Grey, which is not to be confused with Fields of Gold. A lot of people do. It's another very sentimental song in a different way. It's from Bruce Hornsby's album Harbor Lights, which is his first album without the range, and he was kind of going for a trio sound on a lot of the parts of this record. And this is a song he wrote about his then young twin sons and the comfort he would get by just walking past their room and seeing them sleeping as he, faced, this was in the early 90s, sort of, faced whatever the world was throwing at them and whatever changes in his own life and in the world at large, whatever that was, if, whatever worries he had. When he would walk by his son's room before going to sleep and he would see them sleeping, it would just be calming. Just sort of that innocence and fragility, I guess. And so it's a song, again, assuming I have this story correct, and I believe he's told this story. It's a song. It's sort of saying to his sons as he sees them sleeping, like, whatever happens, I'm going to be here. You're going to make it. I'm going to help you however I can. And so, again, it's a delicate, soft, sentimental song. It's almost, you could call it a lullaby, I think, if you want to. And much like Olana, it has a piano riff at the beginning. When the night lies so still, or before I go to sleep, I come by, oh, just to look at you. And in that dim light I say, in my own small way, I will try to help you through. There'll be blue skies falling, there'll be sad scenes and bad dreams, in a world so uncertain. Through the clouds it's hard to see. I will grab you and lift you as you hold on tight and sway. We'll go walking, across the fields of grey. Now, another thing that kind of ties these two songs together, and is what kind of got my attention to make a segue out of it, is both of them make good use of the flat 7 chord, which is an F major in this case. Both songs have a bridge in F major. Now, Olana actually uses this chord earlier on in the song, but not in heavy emphasis the way it does in the bridge. So the bridge of Olana, these hills turning gold for one more year. I've been from Jerusalem to Rome, walking through these rooms tonight alone, looking back on everything. All I ever wanted was a home. And the bridge for Fields of Grey. Fields of Grey. When I was younger, I saw things in black and white. Now all I see is a sad, hazy gray. Sometimes I feel a narrow flash of light. Sometimes I look and you show me the way. So as you can see, again, both songs really have similar moods. They're both very relaxed, sentimental, affectionate, and the bridge is about as close to anything jarring as they get, and it's really not that jarring, even though it is a flat 7 chord. So this is a kind of segue that works both ways, and you could easily go from one to the other and back, and you could choose whichever one you want to start with. Personally, I like to start with Olana, go into Fields of Grey, and then end with Olana. And I'll show you why in just a moment. But it really is simple in the sense that you go from the last chorus of whichever song you start with. So in my case, I would start with Olana. I'll just do the last 2 seasons. Sun beat down on a summertime town, you left me here, watching these hills turning gold for one more year. When you just go from the Olana riff to the Hornsby riff, it almost sounds like you're doing just like a delicate little, like a nice little, I gotta find a different word, I keep saying delicate, like a little ornamental ending. But if you know what you're doing, when the night lies so still, oh, before I go to sleep, I'll come by, oh, just to look at you. And just like that, you're in Fields of Grey. Now, it's really a similar thing if you want to do Fields of Grey first, or if you want to go back into Olana like I do. We'll go walking all across the Fields of Grey. We'll go walking across the Fields of Grey. You can do these little vocal tags Hornsby does live. Walking across the Fields of Grey. It's essentially cycling here: G, E minor, D, C. You may recall that, well, I don't think I actually mentioned this. The verse of Olana starts on a C. They say my final masterpiece is this house upon the hill, high above the great and mighty river. So, because the Hornsby, the Fields of Grey cycle ends on a C, and Olana's verse starts on a C, rather than Well, you could do either. You could go straight into the riff of Olana, which, come to think of it, if I did Fields of Grey first, then I would probably do that. I would probably go into the riff instead. But since I like to start with Olana, go into Fields of Grey, and then just end with the live tag ending of Olana, you can go right from the Fields of Grey They say my final masterpiece was this house upon the hill. Just gently in the end. Well, that kind of ruined the mood. I accidentally hit a key there, but you get the picture. So that's how that works. Two relaxing, calming, emotional, sentimental songs that really just set, I don't know, just a wonderful mood when you hear them. There's a sense of melancholy to both of them, I think, but they're still overall positive and, I think, soothing. So that's it. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you've learned something. And I'll see you in the next episode.